Okay, detectives, let's take a deep breath and digest some news. I'm recording this on the 12th of October 2024, the day after the miracle. In case you missed it, we had not one, not two, but three new studios all announcing games which were very quickly identified as, but not all necessarily claiming to be, spiritual successors to Disco Elysium. Let's walk through them one by one. First to announce was LongDuW Game Studio, aiming to make a narrative first, psychological, deep RPG, where decisions matter. Not an entirely new concept, but you can expect to hear similar wording whenever anyone announces a disco-like. And well, how else do you pitch it? It all sounds good to me so far. Not much is known about the game they're making at this stage, and there is only a little extra information on the team involved. We're informed that the studio is made up of former ZOWM devs who worked on the original Disco Elysium and its canned sequel, but no names have bubbled to the surface beyond that of Grant K. Roberts. Writing credits for Grant include Destiny 2, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and others. I think this is a studio we need to learn a lot more about before we can make any assessment about what to expect. The details here are the thinnest of the three. As we digested this story across social media, we soon got word that a second studio had come to the table and rolled their dice. Enter Dark Math Games and their officially announced game by the name of TriXX Night Shift. This studio is, again, made up of former Disco Elysium people, and it's important to talk a little bit about the names we've seen attached to the company. A breakaway group of 20 members of the original Disco Elysium team, including motion graphics designer and programmer Timo Albert, which may go some way to indicating why their new game is going with a familiar scrolling sidebar for their dialogue. Another name which may raise an eyebrow or two in the community will be that of Kender, this time High T Kender. This is the brother of mysterious investor Core Kender. The mystery being why he went on the journey of backer and investor of the original game, then to the man taking ZOWM to court before finally backing out of the lawsuit because it was misjudged, and then left the studio and his shares behind. Now it's important to consider that this isn't Core, it's his brother, and there is still a lot of mystery surrounding the full nature of what happened between him and ZOWM, so I'm reluctant to call off the hype on account of this one element of the new studio's story, but know for many it will be an uncomfortable one that they'll need to convince people doesn't stink. The game itself, well, we know more about this one actually than any of the others. We even have a trailer.
It was inevitable. It's born.
You will immediately feel the disco running through the veins of this game in the trailer. An ethereal voice waking you from sleep, colourful portraits indicative of personality traits such as drive and curiosity, music made up of warm pads akin to those found on sleep aid playlists. We even get a little bit of that disco flavour in the writing, with lines like,
It is everything. The road and the home. An escape from the cold, old and safe. A promise of the hot, new and dangerous.
and
You are gasoline, gently floating atop the clearest waters. A thin film of rainbow reflections, burning with an invisible flame.
oh, and yeah, we've got ourselves a new futuristic dice roll to go with those new checks.
Someone was looking for you all weekend. Tried to contact you.
So we've got some meat to the bones, and that skeleton's philosophy can be found in the words from the studio and what they set out to do with TriXX Night Shift. Many fans have already levelled concern at the idea of less words, more bullets. Certainly not in the spirit of Disco Elysium, but this has to be its own thing. And let's be honest, having less words than Disco Elysium is probably still quite a lot. And in fact, the total amount of bullets in our beloved Elysium was low enough that a mere 10 bullets would be more. Perhaps I'm guilty of some wishful thinking here, but the trailer strikes me as something far more introverted than that message would suggest. After a busy afternoon of giddy excitement, the world of Elysium fandom was barely hanging on to sanity before a third studio hit us. And holy shit if this isn't the most Mazovian of them all. Billed as an anti-capitalist art collected by the people, for the people, every worker, creator, player, a member of the board. Summer Eternal, led by our comrades Argo Tuulik and Dora Klindžić of Disco Elysium renown, amongst others including narrator Lenville Brown, announced they are also working on a new game. They did this rather fittingly through one of the most beautiful examples of web design I've seen in a long time. A single spark, a prairie fire. Okay, who else took a minute before realising you could scroll down and have those two words meet in the middle of a burning building? Pretty cool. As you roll down that striking red homepage of Summer Eternal, you will find yourself at the studio's manifesto, a powerful statement on the state of gaming industry and its hostile takeover by corporate greed, the dismissal of the growing trend of using AI in place of the human spirit, and most importantly of all, a promise to never forget who they are, why they are dedicated to being driven by creative forces instead of financial, and a promise to bring us all along with them on the journey. This for me is the most exciting of them all. It is a revival of the disco DNA, and as we stand here today, the one true spiritual successor. However, let me finish on one final point. We have not mentioned Robert Kurwitz, Alexander Rostov, or Helen Hinper, or even the studio holding the rights to the world of Elysium, Studio Zaum. The latter has already cancelled multiple projects and, by all accounts, seems to be doomed to a permanent state of failure. The three big names I mentioned in the former, however, are all part of a company called Red Info. So far silent on what they plan to do with their creativity, it is widely speculated that this flurry of announcements comes on the back of non-compete clauses expiring. So could we also be due to hear from the original builders of Elysium soon? So much is still unknown, but in the space of 24 hours we have gone from having no hope for disco ever again to the very real prospect of 5 spiritual successors to our beloved game.
After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again.